Hey, Watkins, welcome, family. I have a special announcement for you guys. So we have a monthly webinar, but this time it is going to be all about that startup urgent care. So on March 20th at noon Eastern, we'll have a live webinar talking about a 90-day game plan of marketing to get you patients on day one of your brand new urgent care that you're starting. So if you have an urgent care starting next 100 days or so, hop on that webinar and you'll get some good information. We'll talk about your website, payer verification, how to get your profile up, how to actually have social media campaigns ready to go. Because the ultimate goal is that day one, you have patients coming through the door and that patient volume just grows over time. Love to have you on there, and we'll see you then.
What's going on? Walk-ins, welcome fam. Nick and Michael here. We're here for helping you get more patients, deliver better care, get repeat visits, scale your clinic. And what's funny is we're doing this on an atypical day, and we both have our Nick the Marketer swag on.
We do.
And it's like, if y'all are wondering who we are, it's like this is OG marketing for us. My core company has been Nick the Marketer for forever, but we haven't ever focused on it. It's just been Patient Care Marketing Pros. This is all we ever do.
It's funny, I just now noticed that that's happening.
I saw it. I'm over here looking at the playback, and I'm going, "Oh wow, we're in full NTM swag."
You know what? At least we're being completely transparent with all that. Actually, lines up real well to the one email we got from that random guy a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
where he was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Actually, it's the same people."
Same people.
It was so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, hey Michael,
what's up? So if y'all are watching on the YouTube, I sound old all of a sudden.
The old YouTube
or Spotify video. Nick's standing.
Yep, I am.
You're suffering through some back issues.
Got me a nice little back brace on.
Yeah, back brace, all the things.
It's a good recommendation.
And you're way better now than you were like 2 weeks ago.
Last week was a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, you weren't moving.
No.
At least you're moving now.
Well, a week before last was really bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You were done. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, this is not our normal day to do this, which hence the change in the look by accident. No intention there.
Hey, go check us out, nickmarketer.com.
Actually, send us an email, say NTM's the best. Hello at patientcaremarketingpros.com.
That's right.
And we'll see if somebody's watching. But anyway, we're doing that because you're traveling this week.
Yes. I'll be in Miami.
Yeah, you'll be in Miami the later part of the week. And so just like we need to take care of an episode, so let's go ahead and do it. But anyway, so this episode is actually more for me to talk about because I'm going to talk about an experience. And I think it's an experience that urgent cares could take a good note from, and it has to do with my cat, of all things. So just to paint a quick picture, we have a black cat named Poe, P-O-E. And
not to be confused with Poe the panda bear.
But like Edgar Allan Poe.
There you go.
Because he's a black cat. I got him from Shelby County Humane Society back in November. Anyway, I've had him for a couple of months. And here in Birmingham, we have the Tulip Festival. So Courtney loves going to the Tulip Festival. She got a bunch of tulips, brought him home. And he is one of the most curious cats we've ever met. And he ate one. And if you're a cat that eats a tulip, you're in trouble. And I didn't know that. Courtney knew that. And he's very sneaky and very curious. He's so curious that one time he caught himself on fire.
Oh.
Because he was curious about the candle.
Well,
and so we're just waiting for something. So this was another he was so curious. He opened up a vent to our HVAC, went into the HVAC system, and went around. And we had to fish him out.
That's kind of fantastic.
So this is the type of cat we're doing. This morning he was in the dishwasher, and I took a picture of that. One of the most curious cats I've ever met. Anyway,
are you rehoming your cat on this episode?
We love Poe. He's a great cat, but holy crap, he's a curious cat. Anyway, so
curiosity literally kills the cat.
That's what we keep saying. This cat will die of a very interesting way. Like something stupid will happen. Like, of course it happens.
Sounds anyway, like on life number 4 or 5 at this point.
He really is. He's already gone through 2 or 3 lives at this point. He's only like a year and a half old. But anyway, so here's the story. Here's why I race urgent care. All right, so 3:30, 4 o'clock this past Friday, I get a call from my wife saying, "Hey, the cat ate tulips, and I know it's bad." I called our vet, and listen to this. I called our vet, the vet that's seen this cat before, and they said, "We're too busy. Go somewhere else. Go to this urgent vet care." And I was like, okay. So one off, respect to that particular vet saying this cat probably could die and we may not be able to get to it soon enough. I think that was probably the mindset. So good for them. But also they gave away like hundreds of dollars by not saying we'll work them in. So it's kind of like a balance there, I think. But anyway, that's not the point. So so my wife's like, okay, we're going to the urgent. It's literally called urgent vet care or urgent vet clinic, one or two. And it was like 20, 30 minutes away. So she calls and says, hey, I have this situation. They literally said, how far are you? Like basically, like you're running short on time. You should probably
get here.
You need to get here. So she gets there and goes through the process. Like, yeah, we're gonna make them throw up and do all this stuff.
You told me about how they did that.
Yeah, which is really funny how they did that. And I'm sure those who are listening probably know. But anyway, here's the interesting part of it. So my wife and my daughter, my 5-year-old with the cat, are there. And so I'm here at work, and I'm like, well, I'll just go from here straight over there just to see how they're doing. And let me tell you, the experience of that urgent vet care, so they're just a vet, right, was like, why don't urgent cares be this way? And let me explain what I mean. So you walk, it's very fascinating. So you walk in, there's no front desk. It's just a wall. Like it kind of trips you out because you walk up and there's like little refreshments and then 2 iPads and then just a wall. And then one side you see a door or two and the other side's a hallway. And I walk up and I could hear like my daughter saying something. So I was like, okay, I'm nearby. So I start to walk one way, and the guy comes out and says, hey, can I help you? And I explain. He's like, yeah, let me take you over there. So, but the mind says, I had zero interaction with people. Walk up, I could just hit the iPad and say, I'm a new patient and whatever, and someone would walk out to me and take care of me. But let me kind of say, like, one, that was very smooth. Like, it was very smooth. 2, it was quiet. I don't know if you've ever been to a vet. Vets are loud.
Yeah.
It was whisper quiet.
Lots of animals barking, lots of cats meowing.
Yes. So it was whisper quiet, and it had a great smell, which is interesting to me because
Especially for animals, yeah.
Because you go into a vet and you're like, okay, I can smell the animals. Great smell. I was like, this is so fascinating to me. So he takes me back. So we get taken to a room specifically for cats. So it wasn't just like a generic exam room. It was a cat exam room. So a couple of things that made it a cat room. One, it had actual paintings of cats on the wall, which I thought was funny. 2, it had cat treats right there on the table. And then 3, like the scale and everything they were using was cat size. It wasn't for dogs.
Right.
And so it was all it was so clean. Everything was super clean. Everything was branded. And it was just like, even the mat that the cat stood on was a branded mat.
That's cool.
So everything was branded. And it smelled great in there. And then, to me, this is the part that I think is so fascinating. Because there was a child, they had a branded color activity book to give Addie to keep her entertained while they took care of the cat.
That's pretty cool.
So think about that process, like where my wife, I'm thinking about toward an urgent care. My wife called. Great. How close are you? It's like the concern. Even she called me. She said, I think they're really concerned because they just asked me how close I was. They wanted me to see him immediately. And then she said she went straight in. They knew what to do, and they took him straight back. And then within an hour of her talking to me to he's throwing up, all of it's been done. And it was funny on the throw up part. So apparently they gave him some medication to throw up, but then to make sure they got everything, they sat him in a chair and spun him around.
That's crazy.
To make him throw up. And then they gave him medication to make him stop throwing up. So
it's impressive.
But they said, but the guy would come, that was the other part. The doctor came out. He was the most vet style doctor you can imagine, like older guy with long white hair and a ponytail, with a white beard, like just kind of fits the vibe of a vet. But he was like, let me explain what we're going to do. And then they said, we're going to take him back and do that. And he came back and said, okay, he did great. This is what we're going to do next. I mean, it was just it was well informed. It was very fast. Like everything about it was just very nice to the point. Like, why don't all human doctor visits feel this way?
Right.
I don't even like the care of it was so different to me. And I'm not like discounting like doctors in general. I'm just saying like what they did was what you would want someone to do for you.
Right.
It was a very positive experience. And then they even the next day called my wife and said, how's he doing? Checking in on him.
That's pretty cool.
So it's like layer after layer. And then I got a call today from the original vet who referred out and said, did they take care of you? Like, yeah, they did.
Well, that's nice of them to follow up.
Yeah, right. So they even followed up. And there was no, I thought that was really cool. So I was just like, golly, like these are all the things, like y'all are checking off all the right boxes.
Right. It's almost as if they listen to this podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, part of me is like, God, it sounds familiar. But they real life example of all the things we talk about.
That's right.
The follow up, the are we taking care of them? The smoothness of the process from the second I step in to the second we check out. Even the checkout, they just handed us like a little Clover handheld credit card thing, so they didn't have to go to a checkout window.
Oh, that's cool. Just tap to pay.
Tap to pay while you're standing there.
Yep.
Man, I wish I had pet insurance.
All of a sudden,
they got real expensive real fast.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, that was like, it was $350 bucks for an hour.
I'm not buying any more insurances. Like, don't ask me. I don't want to buy any more insurance.
Well, it's kind of funny. It was like $350 to make my cat throw up, which is just funny to me. But I get it, but he's not dead. So, and Courtney tried to make him throw up her set, like,
she didn't spin the chair.
She should spin the chair, which is so funny to me. Could have done that. But no, so like that whole thing was a super amazing experience. And it's kind of one of those, they did everything that we talk about doing. Mm-hmm. And if a vet can do it, why can't an urgent care can do it? And
That's a good point.
And now I do recognize that vet doesn't have a high volume that an urgent care does. Like, I don't think they see 50 plus pets a day. They might, I don't know.
Right.
But they designed everything to handle that. Where, I think there were probably 6 or 7 exam rooms. And the way they designed the building, best I could tell at least, it was U-shape. Where you walk in, it's just, when I say literally a wall like this, our podcast room is wider than that hallway was.
Right.
And so you walk up, you probably got like 4 feet in front of you, and there's a wall with iPads, and then there's no obvious way to like go somewhere. Like, you'd have to stand there for somebody to come get you. But then it kind of U's around either side is the exam rooms. And that's it. Like, it's very clean. It's very focused. And it has some seating areas on the left-hand side. But ultimately, they're trying to get you to follow a quick path type of thing. And they avoided like the large squared out waiting room that we're all used to.
Okay.
Which is, I think, probably a good thing, because then from a pet standpoint, you can spread your pets out a little bit, and they're not all congregating in one spot. So, I don't know. Overall, it was such a good experience. And what triggered all of this was just the branded color and activity book, where it entertained my child for most, she got bored soon enough. But the idea like, here, take this will help you. Like, it's one of the things, you would get as a kid at a restaurant. Here, take this thing to scribble on the menu. But like, they do it for that side of it, because they realize like, this is not a quick conversation. This is not a quick visit. This will take some time. Let's entertain your kid as long as we can. So
that's pretty cool.
At the end of the day, like, I thought it was like, this is something I think all urgent care should take a look at. And the fact it's called urgent vet care, right. It's like they understood what they were going after.
Well, you walk into a restaurant typically. Mm-hmm. They hand you a kid's menu with crayons.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Knowing that that's not the demographic that they're targeting. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to get you to bring your kids in.
Yep.
They just know that you're going to have them as part of that experience anyway, right?
Yeah.
Or at least there's a probability that would happen. Mm-hmm. So, if you run a mainstream urgent care and sometimes people don't feel good, well, some of those moms or even dads, they may have their kids with them because they don't have anything else that they can do with these kids, right? Yep. So for you to have a coloring book and some crayons on hand, now we're working on something like that, right?
Yes. So we're actually because we recognize that our urgent cares could have a use for this, and this was actually a conversation before this vet thing.
Yeah, it's wild that even happened.
Like, it happened within like hours technically, but we're actually working on building a color activity book for our urgent cares to utilize,
right,
and have it branded for them and all the things. Because this is like a legitimate thing that there's a need for. Because we look at all the data, like you're talking about. Most of the people who are interacting with you are mothers and things like that.
Most of them, yep.
And and if it's after 2 or 3 o'clock, the kids are
because guys aren't going to the doctor.
They try not to, right?
Yeah.
But then chances are the kids are with them, especially if it's after 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or if it's first thing in the morning, they just don't have a choice, or they have young kids that just aren't in school yet.
Right.
So, and then of course summer's hit and those type of things, or during winter break. Like, we're looking at how can we bring some added value to our urgent cares and say, hey, like, well, not only will we'll send you a nice little thank you box, but like, here's some activity books that actually can you use. If you want some more, let us know.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset we're going for. I like to have feedback from our audience. Like, is that something you guys would want? because we're right now experimenting with it. But I just know as a patient, I just went through or my cat as a patient, but me as a payer, going through that, like, that was really good. Even my wife's like, that was great that she had that. My daughter was probably colored 3 or 4 of the 10, 20 pages that were in there, which kept her entertained. And it just added to the experience at the end of the day. Because at the end, like, yes, it's cool that you can keep a child quiet for a short period of time, but it's the overall experience. Because like that was like the cherry on top, right? Because yes, they were available. We expected that. Yes, they were able to keep the cat from dying. We were expecting that.
Right.
Then the little add-ons of it smelled great in there. It was very quiet, coloring book, and then the follow-up the next day. Those were all cherry on the top situations.
That's cool.
So,
Applying this to urgent care, not really applying it, but just thinking through it. I study urgent care models.
Yeah.
I want to know what's coming, really, so that I can tell you awesome listeners what's coming. And I'm not 100% sure this is happening, but I know it started overseas already, and I know it's being dabbled with on the West Coast a little bit just to, test market it. And it's these urgent care pods. Have you seen those yet?
Mm-mm.
So first of all, if you go to Japan, it's common that there is a bathroom that you pay to go into.
Yeah.
And it's like a pod, right? And you pay, and that payment keeps the bathroom up and kept, right?
Right.
And it keeps people from sleeping in there, I guess, which I don't see that being a problem in Japan, but
and that's the same concept. Like you go to Aldi, pay $0.25 for your buggy.
Right.
The buggy doesn't get destroyed and it gets returned.
Right. So anyway, this keeps the bathroom clean, public. And what's really wild, I know we're not here to talk about bathrooms, but what's really wild is when you walk into it, it's all glass.
Yeah.
You can see in it until somebody's in there occupying it, and then it's one way out. So you can go to the bathroom looking at everybody, but they can't see you. I hope. Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I guess you got to have some faith in that. Point I'm trying to make, though, is that same pod technology, that small and compact, they're now testing it with urgent care.
It's fascinating.
And so you have this pod, you go in, you pay to go in, and then it's got a chair. All of the vitals are checked in that chair and then sent to your doctor in real time. And it's like a televisit with real. You remember Tito Care was on our podcast.
Yeah.
And they had that thing that attaches to your phone, and you can breathe in it and put it into the air, and it sends all this data like in real time over a telehealth. Well, this is just a box telehealth at the same time where you can get convenient access without all the overhead.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of wild, but it's coming.
It kind of sounds like what was the futuristic movie with the Taco Bell fast food?
Oh, Demolition Man. Such a good movie.
It kind of reminds me of that.
I did not realize we were going to be talking about Demolition Man and the 3 seashells on this podcast today, but here we are living the dream. Go, Michael.
Well, no, don't they actually have, isn't there a scene where the guy's like talking to somebody on a screen in a public booth about his mental health?
Yes, but that's fantastic.
That's a good. I haven't seen that in so long.
Illuminate.
Yeah.
Deluminate.
Exactly. So, but no, interesting though, because I mean, it makes sense because the challenge with telehealth is I don't have the equipment, or if I did, I don't know where it is now, or there's a convenience factor that's not quite there yet because there's a process to it. And then from the doctor standpoint, the connection may not be great. They may not get good enough information where they have to say, well, you got to come in. But the idea of a pod is like you go now. I guess my mindset goes, so how sanitized is that thing? Because if sick people are walking in,
so go all the way back to the thought process of Japan, right?
Yeah,
you pay. There's somebody attending it. They're cleaning it after, like they're taking care of it. It is checked on. It is sanitized. It is cleaned. All of those different kinds of things. So there's a reason I told that story.
Yeah,
was to set up for how they're looking at urgent care. By literally docking a box, right?
Like actual box,
right?
docking a booth,
docking a cube, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to send you that link later. Just let you see, if I can find it. But
I mean, it makes sense.
It does. I mean, some people are going to still want that human interaction, but I'm telling you, the next generation of people don't care about that. What you just said, I walked up to an iPad. You're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're another generation removed from you at this point, right? So I'm a Gen Xer, barely. Like I'm almost a millennial, but. Anyway, I qualify as a Gen X, thank God. With that being said, though, like even my generation, I don't mind going up to an iPad and doing everything on an iPad and being ready. I told my story about going to Colorado and I went to Three Peaks, which is one of our clients.
Yep.
And when I went in there, I'd already done everything online, and I walked in there like, Mr. Horde? Like, they pointed at me,
Yep.
Mr. Horde? I'm like, yeah, there's 3 people over here who didn't check it online. They're like, yeah, come on back. We got you. And I'm like, yes. Like, that's awesome. to
Yeah.
me, right? So for me to bypass that altogether and go into a cube, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying that it wouldn't be unrealistic to me.
I mean, I can imagine, like, especially if you're a returning patient.
Oh, yeah.
And so they just have you like scan your ID and say, "Oh, hello, we have everything that we need to know. Please wait." And then,
Well, I mean, think about the implications from this, Michael, is let's just say that I own 30 cubes. And then I have
so this
one,
is the red box of urgent care.
kind of, but look at what
Urgent care
look
red.
at Kroger
Yeah,
grocery stores business model now.
yeah. The
Like, we do not have a physical. Like, I'm from Memphis. Kroger is everything there.
and we don't have one here.
There's
but-
not one here.
but we can get delivery.
But do you know that it's the largest chain in Alabama now?
I didn't know that.
That's because they have 5,000 trucks running around little grocery stores. It's now the largest chain in Alabama, not for any other reason other than they just changed the business model completely.
Yeah.
All they do is deliver food to you now, and then you get a discount on your gas at every Shell station you go to. And it's not a sad little discount. It's 30, 40 cents per gallon,
Oh wow.
right? So it's no joke.
So you can get the Kroger experience without the Kroger store.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm from Memphis, and the Kroger experience is typically you getting shot at. You're laughing. Go look at the news.
That's funny.
You think I'm joking? The one right across, the one that I went to, the one I worked at when I was a kid, has dead people there.
Oh well.
So I'm not.
This podcast going everywhere.
I'm
man.
not making jokes out of this. The whole point I'm trying to make though is like the business models, like everything in the world right now feels like it's changing.
Yes.
For better or worse. I'm not going to get into that debate, but everything feels like it's changing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say everything, man, down to the way you get your groceries, the way we shop has changed, the way we interact at work is changing.
Yeah.
Everything is changing. And urgent care is aging now. It's not new anymore.
No, it's not.
Right?
You know, you're talking mid 90s where it
Yeah.
became a thing. And now and this actually kind of follows the product life cycle a little
Yeah.
bit because we're hitting that 20 to 30 year mark. So the early adopter phase is over.
Yep.
Now it's in the maturing phase. And so it's trying to figure out who it is. So you're going to start seeing some major changes. And eventually it'll get to the phase where it's just as is until some disruptor comes around.
Which innovation.
Right. And so,
Right.
you know, in classic examples of this is like the idea of Blockbuster, which got destroyed by Redbox, which Redbox got destroyed by Netflix.
Right.
Because of streaming, because Netflix came in as a mail option and then now streaming just took out everything.
That's right.
Now everyone streams, and now that's their new standard. And now it's so funny to me how we come full circle. Oh, I only paid $8 to get what I want, and now if you combine all your streaming services to get
It's more than what I was paying.
to get the programming that you really want at your fingertips, it's now costing you more than your typical cable bill was 10 years ago.
I'm shaking my head for those who are in their car because, like, I just went through this yesterday, and I'm going, man, I ain't watched Netflix. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Netflix has been actually notorious recently because they keep increasing prices very quickly.
It was $7.99. It's $21.99 now.
Yeah, and then you can have the
good
ad-supported model, which then you're like, what's the point? And
Everything else is ad supported. So
I mean, honestly, for us, so we fell into the trap of Peacock, where we bought Peacock to watch the Olympics, and we never turned it off because they had The Office, and so we're literally paying $8 or $9. Well, it's not bad. It's like $8. I think it's $8. $8 a month for one show, which technically at this point we could have just bought the DVD box.
and this podcast is off the rails.
It is completely off the rails. But go full circle back. Experience does matter.
Yeah. Coming back, do the things right.
Yeah, and this is a Monday podcast. But so all that being said, so experience does matter. I encourage you guys, if you are looking for, like, if you do great things, if you're a great doctor that does, the patients love you, look for the cherries on the top type of thing. And in my world with my cat, it was a really great smelling place that was very quiet. So it was the opposite of everything I thought it was going to be.
Right.
So think about your urgent care. What is something that you would surprise people with? And the first things that come to mind to me is it's always quick, which there's expectation there, but I'm confident in what you told me, and if there was a follow-up afterwards, I'd not just a number.
Right.
And that's sometimes really hard to figure out what makes sense. But I'm just telling you, there are options out there. And we're offering up the activity book as one small thing that can make a little bit of difference in the way your patients feel towards you.
That's good.
So.
Good episode, man.
Yeah, it got a little derailed with the bathrooms and demolition, man. But
if for some reason you're still listening to this episode, one, thank you. Two, this ain't the episode to leave a review on. No. Please be gentle. All right. Y'all have a great week.
All right, y'all have a good one. See y'all later.